ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are all doing well. My name is Harry Cruz and today we'll be playing one of the first ever Let's Plays on this channel, the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. It is a fighting fantasy game book which essentially what you do is you are the hero in your own book and you have to follow different options. You choose the path in which you want to take in the book. And it is a fantastic game book series as well. There's multiple books that were written in the 80s and 90s, and many of the classic books has been pre-made on the iPhone. So I'm going to be playing, go through one of the books today, and yeah, we'll see how far we get before we perish before the quest ends. So without further ado, let's continue. We're going to go through a few of the rules and regulations on the way as well, so you kind of know what we're up against. Alright, so this is the first book ever written, The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. I'm going to be reading it to you whilst we play through this, and I'll be making a few options and a few decisions as well on which paths we take. Now, I've used to play these books quite a few years ago, but I don't really remember any of the options, so let's see what happens. So, I'm going to read through the instructions here. Feel free to tag along. The Warlock of Firetop Mountain is a fighting fantasy game book, an interactive adventure in which you are the hero. You can only win by choosing the correct path, finding equipment, avoiding traps and surviving combat. You will need to be as wise as an owl and as cunning as a weasel to triumph over the challenges ahead of you. Before embarking on your adventure, you must determine your own strengths and weaknesses with a series of dice rolls. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swordplay to improve your skill and exercising vigorously to build up your stamina. Before making your rolls, you must choose from one of the 3 difficulty settings: adventure, difficulty mode, free read modes, or the more difficult modes as well. I like to just go for the adventurer mode because that is how the books were laid out initially, and you get a little bit of extra help as well from the authors, from Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone as well. That's basically how they designed it. And we also get bookmarks too, where we can basically act as finger holdings between pages if we do get stuck or we want to save our progress rather. So I'm going to click the adventurer mode. Okay, so you have chosen the adventure difficulty mode. This is where now we have to roll our stats, and these stats play a big part in the gameplay itself, because sometimes we have to fight certain creatures and there'll be certain roles that we have to face, which can determine outcomes, and you'll understand what I mean more so when we get into the entries itself. But we're going to roll first for our stamina, and our stamina score, as it says in the book, reflects your general constitution, your will to survive, determination and overall fitness. The higher your stamina score is, the longer you will be able to survive. You must roll 2 dice and add 12 to the number rolled. This is then entered in the stamina box on your adventure sheet. Stamina will go up and down during your journey, but if your stamina falls to 0, you die and your adventure is over. So, without further ado, let's roll the stamina, see how we do. Not too bad, 8, which means plus 12, our stamina is 20, so above average, ain't too bad. I mean, the max is what we could have got is 12 on the roll, so yeah, 20 is respectable. We'll have that. Now next is the skill stat. Your skill reflects your swordsmanship and general fighting expertise. The higher, the better. Your starting skill is determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6 to the number. This is then entered in the skill box on your adventure sheet. The adventure sheet can be accessed at any time using the menu at the bottom of the screen, which I think you'll be able to see on that green bar below you there. So let's see if we can get some decent skill out of this. I mean, 5 out of 6 is pretty darn good, right? So we're on skill base 11, which is fantastic. Okay. Now the next skill we've got to determine is our luck score. Your luck score indicates how naturally lucky a person you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy kingdom you are about to explore. Your starting luck is determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6 to the number. This is then entered into the luck box on your adventure sheet. Right then, so let's start rolling our luck then. Oh, that was lucky. Okay. Wow. Got 6 out of 6 there. means our luck is maxed out at 12. So we've got really high skill of level 11. Luck is 12, max it could possibly be. And our stamina is above average too at 20. So doing good, guys. Let's see how we do. Now, the next stage now is to choose a potion to take with us. In addition to your other starting equipment, you may take one bottle of a magical potion which will aid you on your quest. Each potion contains enough for one measure, so use it wisely. The potions of skill, strength will fully restore your skill or stamina points respectively, and the potion of fortune will add 1 to your initial luck score before fully restoring your luck points. Now, which potion shall we take on our quest with us? I quite like the idea of having a potion of fortune because we do get +1 in addition to us restoring our luck points as well, so we would be capped at 13, which would be crazy high. So I reckon the potion of fortune would be a fantastic one to get, so I'm going to click the potion of fortune there, confirm that, and now we've got to prepare our adventurer's equipment. You begin your adventure with a sword and shield, leather armour, a backpack containing provisions, food and drink, and a lantern to light your way. Rationing your provisions is a key to a successful adventure. They may be consumed at any time, excluding combat, by accessing the adventure sheet. Each meal restores full stamina. Be sure to pay close attention to your stamina and restore it regularly. Your difficulty settings determine how many provisions you begin with. Adventurers and free readers start with 10, while hardcore heroes begin with 3. Now we're on adventurer mode, so we have 10 at the moment. During your quest, you may encounter characters and items that alter your free scores, stamina, skill, and luck, which you've just rolled for. Usually these scores may only be restored to their initial amount, but on very rare occasions, a particular page may grant an effect that defies this rule. Aside from these occasions, some magical items may also allow you to exceed your initial scores. Once you have readied your equipment, you may begin. May the luck of the gods go with you on the adventure ahead. So, we're now going to get into the story of Warlock of Firetop Mountain now. We've got all our stats sorted. And yeah, I'm going to quickly read the introduction to you, and we'll be starting to make some options as well on the quest. So, without further ado, let's continue and read the introduction. Only a foolhardy adventurer would embark upon such a perilous quest without first finding out as much as possible about the mountain and its treasures. Before your arrival at the foot of Firetop Mountain, you spent several days with the humble townsfolk of a village some 2 days' journey from the base. Being a likeable sort of person, you found it easy to get on with the locals. Although they told many stories about the mysterious Warlock's sanctuary, you could not feel sure that all, or indeed any, of these were based on fact. The villagers had seen many adventurers pass through on their way to the mountain, but very few ever returned. The journey ahead was extremely dangerous, that you knew for certain. Of those who returned to the village, none contemplated going back to Firetop Mountain. There seemed to be some truth in the rumour that the Warlock's treasure was stored in a magnificent chest with 2 locks, and the keys to these locks were guarded by various creatures within the dungeons. The Warlock himself was a sorcerer of great power. Some described him as old, others as young. Some said his power came from an enchanted deck of cards, others from that silky black gloves that he wore. The entrance to the mount was guarded by a pack of warty-faced goblins, stupid creatures fond of their food and drink. Towards their inner chambers, the creatures became more fearsome. To reach the inner chambers, you would have to cross a river. The ferry service was regular, but the ferrymen enjoyed good barter, so you should save a gold piece for the trip. The locals also encouraged you to keep a good map of your wanderings, for without a map you'd end up hopelessly lost within the mountain. When it finally came to your day of leaving, the whole village turned out to wish you a safe journey. Tears came to the eyes of many of the villagers, young and old alike. You couldn't help wondering whether they were tears of sorrow, shed by eyes which would never see you alive again. Now turn over. So that's our introduction. Let's begin. At your and by the way, before I begin as well, you also will see images as well occasionally on certain entries, which would be quite exciting. This is entry 1, but as we get to the options later on in the book, there will be different page numbers depending on which option path we took. So let's see what happens. At last, your 2-day hike is over. You unsheathe your sword, lay it on the ground, and sigh with a great relief as you lower yourself down to the mossy rocks to sit for a moment's rest. You stretch, rub your eyes, and finally look up at Firetop Mountain. The very mountain itself looks menacing. The steep face in front of you looks to have been savaged by the claws of some gargantuan beast. Sharp rocky cracks jut out at unnatural angles. At the top of the mountain you can see the eerie red colouring, probably some savage vegetation, which has given the mountain its name. Perhaps no one will ever know exactly what grows up there, as climbing the peak must surely be impossible. Your quest lies ahead of you. Across the clearing is a dark cave entrance. You pick up your sword, get to your feet, and consider what dangers may lie ahead of you. With determination, you thrust the sword home into its scabbard, and you approach the cave. You peer into the gloom to see dark, slimy walls with pools of water on the stone floors in front of you. The air is cold and dank. You light your lantern and step warily into the darkness, or blackness even. Cobwebs brush your face and you hear the scurrying of tiny feet. That's most likely. You set off into the cave. After a few yards, you arrive at a junction. Our first choice. Will you turn west or east? And this is what I love about the books, is that these options, you're not just reading a book, you're playing the game as well. So depending which choice you take, it really can affect the gameplay, and it really makes you step into the shoes of the hero, which I think is a fantastic concept. My gut's west, so let's try west initially. We can always, if we do end up getting destroyed or having to restart, we can always choose a different option, perhaps go east. But I think for our first gameplay, let's go with my gut instinct, let's go west this time. Okay, we've got some sort of guardian or something in the image now. There is a right hand turn to the north in the passage. Cautiously you approach the sentry post on the corner, and as you look in, you can see a strange goblin-like creature in leather armour asleep at his post. You try to tiptoe past him. Test your luck. Now, I'm going to bring up the menu here as well and show you the menu. So that's the character name that I decided to go for. Obviously it's a bit self-explanatory because of the YouTube name. Lord Cruz. Stamina, obviously we rolled that as 20, skill 11 and luck 12, which has been capped out. You can see here as well our equipment list: sword, leather armour, shield, lantern as in the others box, and the potion of fortune and 10 provisions, which restores 4 stamina points accordingly. The test your luck system essentially is you have to roll equal to or under the number that you roll, but because we've already got 12, we can't be unlucky basically. So as it will say here, you needed a luck score of 12 or lower, and you rolled a luck of 6. Excellent. So again, there was no way that we could be unlucky in that instance. But every time we use a point of luck, we test our luck, we lose a point of luck. So we're down to now 11 points out of 12. So it gets it could be harder and harder to get lucky as the attempts go by. So we are lucky indeed. He does not wake up, and he remains snoring loudly. You continue on. To your left, on the west face of the passage, there is a rough-cut wooden door. You listen at the door and can hear a rasping sound, which may be some sort of creature snoring. Do you want to open the door? If so, turn to 82. Or would you wish to push on northwards even? Turn to 208. As you can see in the top right corner there, we're on entry 301, so it isn't always chronological with numbers. So hard to keep track occasionally. Now, my character that I'm playing in this playthrough is quite the adventurous, traditional hero. So likes to explore and has a curiosity streak, which is a good thing, but sometimes maybe is downfall. So I think playing by the character, I think he's going to open the door. So let's open it. The door opens to reveal a small, smelly room. In the centre of the room is a rickety wooden table on which stands a lit candle. Underneath the table is a small wooden box. Asleep on a straw mattress in the far corner of the room is a short, stocky creature with an ugly, warty face. The same sort of creature that you found asleep at the sentry post. He must be the guard for the night's watch. You may either return to the corridor and press on northwards, or creep into the room and try to take the box without waking the creature. Interesting. See, to me, this strikes me as it being quite a trap to me. Why is it under the table, for instance? And, I mean, the creature might be fake sleeping here. So I actually think the character that I'm playing would actually press on northwards, but what do you think? Would you do the same? I'm gonna go back to the corridor and go and press on northwards. Throughout the passage, along the west wall, you see another door. You listen at it, but hear nothing. If you want to try opening the door, turn to page 397. Or you can continue northwards. Now, after hearing the snoring, and then my character walking across this door that's quiet, even though he is quite adventurous, I think he would actually feel a little bit nervous going to this door after hearing a snoring door, and then all of a sudden it was quiet in this one. I think the pressure of the mountain is starting to get to him a little bit, but he'll still go and press on ahead and open the door. The door opens to reveal a small room with a stone floor and dirty walls. There's a stale smell in the air. In the centre of the room is a makeshift wooden table on which is standing a lit candle. Under the table is a small box. In the far corner of the room is a straw mattress. You may either open the box or leave the room. Now, to me, this screams trap to me. I mean, look at the description, for instance. Stone floor, dirty walls. I mean, that implies to me, people have been locked in here. So I'm wondering, maybe there's some sort of mechanism or trap, perhaps, that locks us in here. So I'm actually... yeah, this definitely screams trap to me, so I think we're going to also leave this room too. Throughout the passage on the west wall, you see yet another similar door. You listen at the door and grimace to hear the worst singing you have ever heard in your life. Do you want to go into the room and investigate the hideous din, or continue to walk up the passageway? Now, hideous singing. Could it be some sort of mythical creature like a siren? No, that'd be in the water. I think he would go in this one. Got some goblins there, I think. Or some sort of other... maybe orcs, perhaps? The door opens to reveal a small room. The room is dirty and unkempt, but like the last room. A small mattress lies again in one corner. In the centre of the room is a wooden table upon which a candle burns, lighting the room with its flickering flame. A small box rests under the table. Seated around the table are two small creatures with warty skin, dressed in leather armour. They are drinking some sort of grog. By the way, they stagger to their feet on your arrival. You assume they are very drunk. You may either draw your sword and leap forwards at them, or slam the door quickly and run up the passage. Now, my character even, is not a stupid man. He knows if he slams the door quickly and runs up the passage, two goblins or two creatures or whatever they are going to know that he's in the place, and he wants to keep, if possible, as low key as he can. And I think the only way he'll be able to do that is by drawing the sword and actually leaping forward to attack them whilst he's got the upper hand. I mean, they're drunk after all, so there must be some, I don't know, repercussions of that. So I think we're going to have our first combat session, guys. So we're going to, this is where skill and stamina comes into play more so. So let's turn to 116 and see what happens. The two drunken orcs you now face, so they are orcs, you now face are obviously startled at your entrance, and as quickly as they are able to, they fumble around for their weapons. You must attack each one in turn. Their drunkenness allows you to add 1 point to your skill during this battle. You must fight. If you win the battle, we'll continue. So let's fight, let's do this. Oh, music change, how interesting. Okay, so the first orc has got 4 stamina and 5 skill. And due to us having 11 plus 1 skill and 20 stamina, I think this will be an easy fight. So, and we basically just got to roll the highest, adding our skill level points. So he'd have plus 5, I'd have plus 12 in this case, so we should be okay. Okay, so he rolled 8, I rolled 7, and because of the difference, I think we, greatly outnumber him. So we've knocked off 2 stamina. Okay, rolled again. And the first orc is eliminated. Brilliant, let's see what the second one is like. Cool, okay, a bit stronger. Same skill level, but slightly higher in health. Obviously he had slightly less to drink than the other one. Okay, hit the next orc there. Let's fight again. 20 to 12, that's good. 1 stamina left. Well, that was quite a good roll from him. 11. I think not enough to hit us. So yes, we are triumphant. Excellent. Okay, so we win the battle. Okay, you wipe the blooded sword on the mattress. The green blood leaves a slimy stain on the straw. Stepping over the bodies towards the table, you flinch at the foul stench of the creatures. You pick up the box from under the table and examine it. It is a small wooden box with the crude hinges. The name Ferrego di Maggio is inscribed on the brass nameplate on its lid. Now, we've got the options if you wish to open the box, turn to 296, or if we decide to leave it behind and leave the room. Now, if 2 guards were guarding this box, it makes me think there must be some significance to this, and if we've had to fight 2 goblins or 2 orcs rather to get to this, I think it would be of some importance. So let's continue. Okay. Ooh, a letter of some sort. Interesting. Okay. The box contains a small leather-bound book entitled The Making and Casting of Dragonfire. Fortunately, it is written in your own language and thus was probably unintelligible to the orcs. Otherwise, this treasure would have certainly not have been as loosely guarded as it was. The book is written in tiny handwriting by Ferrego di Maggio. In it, he tells the story of his life's work, the creation of the Dragonfire spell, which was created to fight evil dragons. Oh, there's dragons in this, interesting. You read how, in the last years, Ferrego finally perfected his spell, but by then was too old to make use of it. So he completed this book, locked it in a chest, and hid it in the depths of Firetop Mountain. Afraid of what might happen, were it to fall into the wrong hands, the last page reads, "And so, you who now holds this book, you have my life's work in your hands. The power of destruction is yours if you wish it, but do not waste it. Unless you use the spell for the purpose for which it was intended, you shall be consumed by evil itself, and die by the fire from your own hands. Remember, only when the dragon breathes its fire at you should you raise your arms and say, Ikaref, Ikameref, Eref di Maggio." You say these words slowly and softly. Suddenly the pages seem to glow. As the glow disappears, the words on the page fade with it. You repeat the spell to yourself to memorize it and leave the room. Wow. The author must have some faith in the person who read it first. Okay, so turn to 42. Okay, I think I'm gonna do I'm gonna put a bookmark here, I think, after that important entry there. And I think I'm gonna do one more option, and I think we're gonna call it part 1. Okay? So you eventually arrive at the end of the passage at a freeway junction. You may either turn west again or to the east. So again, very similar to the first option we had on this book. So again, it seems like to me that this is going to be a very kind of maze-like book. So I reckon we should go west again because that works in our favour. So let's try west. The passage runs straight for several metres and then ends at a wooden door. You listen at the door and hear angry shouting coming from within. Will you investigate or will we turn back? Now, I'm going to end the entry here. We saved obviously the book entry before. So this is going to be part 1 of our first playthrough of the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. I hope you enjoyed it, and please like and subscribe if you want to stay for more content. I'll be going through more of the books as well after this one, after we complete this one. But yeah, if you want any comments, any suggestions of any books that you want me to play, or any games even, please let me know, and I hope you've enjoyed this session today. Alright, well, take care of yourself, I'll speak to you very soon. Take care, bye!